Welcome back. Merry Christmas. I don't know where my bandana is that I usually wear for these, but I got this. It does the trick. Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the annual net worth review. Many years running now. Crazy to say I'm 30 years old now, but the net worth videos continue regardless, decrepit as I may be. So we'll start off right from the top as I did last year with retirement accounts. I'm just going to go right into it. My annual little disclosure, I will say, if this makes you uncomfortable to talk or think about money, don't watch it. And obviously your value of a person isn't determined, based on money, but this is something I like to watch of other people, kind of see what their money's looking like. And I think a lot of people like to look at it as well. So I think it's a very valuable insight into people around you to kind of understand money a little bit better. But that being said, going right into it with retirement. So last year, 2024, we ended the year at $75,303. So this composes my Roth IRA, rollover IRA, 401k, and I think that's it. So those three accounts. This year, we ended at $116,362, up 54.52%. That's a lot. That's a huge increase. Obviously, a lot of this is just coming from the markets itself, but of course, I've been contributing to these accounts over the year as well. But safe to say, I did not expect it to go up 54% year over year. Huge increase for sure. My second equivalency here, or account, my car. If you looked at my last video, and feel free to pause and take a look at this right now, I won't object to another view if you want to give me one. My Kia Soul at the end of the year was worth $10,000 based on a Carvana offer. Now it's down to $4,128. Now my car did not go down 60% in value. However, what happened, although this account technically went down 58.72%, I started leasing a Tesla. My plan, which 90% possible that this will kind of go out this way, is at the end of the lease, I'll just buy it. So I kind of do have equity in this Tesla that since from, the payments I've been making, but I'm not counting that because I feel like that would be confusing until I actually fully legally acquire the car and aren't just leasing it. Third account, crypto. This is quite interesting because in 2024, I ended at $19,559. And a few months ago, this would have been a very different story, but this year I ended at $17,028, or down 12.94%. Now, this was a different story a few months ago. This was literally in the bulk of my crypto being in Bitcoin and Ethereum peaked a few months ago, like all time peaked. And now we're down versus last year. So that I think goes to illustrate crypto pretty well. It's extremely volatile and these values change on a dime. So that's where it's landing today. We'll see where it goes from there. Brokerage 2024 ended at $65,251. Again, same as last year, I've not contributed any money into this account. Just not where my money's been going. However, this year it is at $115,629. That's again a result of some investments that I have picked over the years, kind of showing their value as I kind of saw fit, saw them being worth rather over the years, and they're now starting to show that value, in my opinion. The market's, I guess, agreeing with me to some degree. So that account is up 77.20%. Emergency fund 2024, $10,073. This year, $13,143. I do things a little bit differently with my emergency fund. Some of it I've invested, some I have sitting in cash. My general thought here has always been that outside of a medical issue, I will always pretty much find work. So the possibility of me realistically tapping into my emergency fund really, really low. So I feel comfortable doing that. Probably not a good idea for most people, but the idea here wasn't to bolster these amount of returns from it. It was really just to keep up with inflation. I have part of it in a high yield savings account, part of it investments, The idle savings account probably does on its own keep up with inflation, but I just wanted to be extra safe because I didn't want to continually have to add to this emergency fund. Savings in 2024. We hit at the end of the year with $14,238. This year, we ended at $22,339, or up 56.90%. Mainly cash contributions here, or cash savings. There's a little bit of interest from the savings accounts, maybe a few $100 at most. But it's generally in this account, obviously savings, because it's not invested. And this is for a mix of uses, the biggest of which being a down payment for a house at some point, maybe. Kind of similar to all those other years, houses continue to be too expensive, so who knows. But continue to throw money in here for that maybe possibility in the future, perhaps. Who knows? But that's up 56.90%. I'll also say some of this I'll probably spend on traveling, which you'll see in later categories. Finally, my last investment account, probably one of the coolest, is my HSA. In 2024, it sat at $12,634. And in 2025, it's at $19,478. Previously, I think the last 2 or 3 years has been my fastest increasing account percentage-wise. Not the case this year, but still quite a hefty increase. And going to be a really valuable account in the future, I believe. But that's up 54.17%. So, to round the numbers out for you in total, 2024, see it on the screen, we had $207,058 at 29 years old last year. Quite a stupendous amount. Not going to complain. However, relax 1 minute, because this year, folks, we smashed right through 200 because we're at 308,107, $308,107 for the end of 2025. Insane. I was hoping at the end of last year's video, if you rewatch it, I was hoping to hit 250,000. I thought in a very good environment, in a good market, I could hit 250. Smashed that. Never would I have ever imagined I would hit $308,000 that quickly. Obviously, a incredibly strong market still, few years running now, which helps tremendously. Second bit there, a lot of what I consider to be well-placed investments showing up for the actual value. You could certainly disagree. I'm not going to show my specific investments for many reasons. Many possible reasons for this going up here. Number one, obviously, the market did fantastic. Number two, a lot of my own personal investment choices, like in the brokerage account, did even better than that market increase. So there's a lot that went into this year. I don't know if that'll continue in 2026. Eventually, the train's got to slow down a little. We don't know when that's going to be, and I'm not going to try to predict it. If we have another good year, maybe we will. I don't even know. I can't. I feel like it's almost reasonable to say 400,000, but that almost, I know it's stupid because it's not greed in this case, but it's just the market itself. But it feels greedy to say going from 300 to 400,000, again, $100,000 in 1 year. But trajectory-wise, not seeming impossible. I don't know though. We'll see. But anyways, moving on from that little bit for now. We're up $101,049 for the year. Again, crazy. Part of that is, of course, contributions, but a large amount of that is from just plain old growth. That's a 48.8% increase. Like, wow. Yeah, it is crazy. I am at a loss for words at the speed at which that is compiled. Basically, at my current trajectory, assuming we have normal market returns, like a real rate of 7%, which to some people is too aggressive, but I could literally just stop saving and I'd still be able to retire very well off. And that's not lost to me, like how unique of a position that is. Certainly, I'm sure there's people that are far ahead of me, but I know this is obviously far above the median. Hopefully, if you're watching this and you're in my general age group, like plus minus 5 years, you're not comparing too much, because I know I'm an outlier. And comparison is the thief of joy. Or maybe you're doing better. If you are doing better, then you should rag on me, because you deserve that. But if you have less, obviously, like I said in the kind of the beginning of the video, it's obviously, nothing you should judge yourself as a person on. You have plenty of time if you're anywhere in my general age group vicinity. But it is important to get on it early and save often, especially in that 20 to 40-year-old category. Your money means a lot. But moving on from that, I do want to discuss, as I do every year, my large expenses, which is almost a more interesting category to me. This is more or less anything that's around or above $300. One of these purchases was a little bit less, but I still factored it in. Starting off, I'll go grab it. I also had to grab a Waterloo sparkling water. Mouth was getting a bit dry. Yeah, brand name water. I can do that because I have money saved. No, I'm just kidding. I usually go for the great value. It's like American something sparkling water when I do get sparkling water. Because honestly, the Walmart brand stuff a lot of times tastes better than the brand name, but this is really good. Anyways, first large purchase of the year, an Oculus 3S. It's a VR headset, one of these ones that you put on. They're fun. Yeah, I just play little games in it. It's a nice way to unwind occasionally. You can also play golf, boxing, things of that nature. This was to replace my other headset, which started getting all wonky. This one, obviously, as most tech upgrades are, a little bit faster, a little bit nicer, blah, blah, blah. But I enjoy it. Something I use relatively often, so good purchase in my opinion. Second item. Now listen, I'll be first to admit, I don't use this a lot, but I did use it on my trips, or my one trip when I had it, which again, I'll go into a little bit more depth here. But it's the Meta glasses. They're very cool. They're great for like shooting video and taking pictures hands-free, which when you're traveling, a lot of times when you're in the moment, you just don't want to be like pulling out your phone. So when it's right on my face and I can just click a button or say, hey, Meta, take a picture, way easier than that. And it just allows me to capture more in the moment. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Oculus was $300. These are also $300. I think it might have been a little bit less with insurance. I could be mistaken. I feel like of some of my purchases in here, this was probably one of the ones that I could have done without, but it did make capturing memories on some of those trips, or just the one trip that it applied to, because the others didn't exist yet, better. So for that, I did think it was a good purchase, but probably could have went without it realistically. Third purchase, large purchase, physical things wise, was getting a dress watch. I got a Hamilton Jazzmaster. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with watches. You may or may not be. The reason I got that watch specifically, number one, obviously I liked how it looked. But number two, I got a hand-me-down watch that was my great-grandfather's that was a Hamilton, and I thought how cool would it be to get a modern version of that, to go along with it, to pass along to, someone else one day. That I got passed that down from one of my uncles, which was really nice. So I thought that would be kind of a cool thing to add on. I use my... It sounds so financially responsible out of context if you don't see the rest of my video, but I used my tax return to buy this. It was $1,100, a lot of money for a watch. I would have never expected to buy a watch for $1,100, trust me. But my friend sells them. He wore me down over time. Again, kind of like these glasses. I don't use it a whole lot. It's basically whenever I'm wearing my suit for whatever occasion, and that usually tends to be like weddings or a job interview or just going into work dressed up for whatever reason. So it's not a whole lot, but it kind of does complete the look a little bit better. The other item I got, now you're gonna say, Andrew, did you need to get two things that were so similar? And a few years ago, I would have been emphatically saying, no, that's stupid, but times have changed a little bit. Apple Watch. My Withings watch, which is here with us right now, died, as you can see. Well, the little screen, basically, it's a hybrid watch. Love this thing. It lasted 5.5 years and just will not turn on anymore. So during Black Friday, saw they had the Apple Watch Series 10 on sale for $250 and decided to get it. It's been great. Great replacement. It's actually a little bit thinner than the Withings, marginally. It does a whole lot more. Doesn't look as classy, obviously. But it's something I wear all the time and tracks my sleep, yada, yada, yada. You might say, do you really need two watches? And the answer is obviously no. I don't need a lot of these things, but it's just something that improves my life quality, and I'm fine paying a little bit of money for that. So rest in peace, Withings. Moving on, travel a little bit here. I went on a trip to Estonia and Finland simultaneously. Took a ferry across the water. So just 2 days in both. Well, 2.5 days in one. With my friend. Really not an expensive trip. Iceland Air. Splitting hotels and a hostel. And, some things are expensive there, like food, obviously, a Nordic country. But it was $1,250 roughly. And I didn't try to conserve spending at all. We got the one night really fancy, nice dinner, like reindeer steak. Is that the proper term? I don't know. Salmon soup. Oh my God, best soup I've ever had. And I didn't really hold back for any reason. If I wanted to get something, I just got it. And that's usually kind of my MO when it comes to travel. That was a really fun trip, though. My other trip that I went on, of a few here, Omaha, Nebraska, went to the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting. Probably the last one. A really cool moment. Got to see Warren Buffett resign in person. Probably one of only, 20,000 people in that arena that saw it in person. So super special. He's amazing, obviously. I don't know if it's going to be worth it to really go back. I wasn't even expecting to do two, in all honesty. So feel super privileged and honored to be able to have gone there twice. But that was $1,092. Realistically, actually less than this, because I spent a good bit on souvenirs, and some of them just being duplicates that I sold on eBay to cover some of my cost here. So really, it's like an under $1,000 trip there. The last trip rather, is Japan and South Korea. A lot of times, if I'm going somewhere, I do like to loop in a second country, especially when I'm going that far. So I went to Japan with my friends for 2 weeks. Again, awesome experience. If I wanted to get something, I just got it. That's, again, my MO for trips. And then after they were done with Japan, I continued on to South Korea for about a week as well. So all that together was $3,417. Not a small amount of money by any means, but pretty good when you consider 3 weeks of travel. That's including, when I say these trips, that's including the flights, any transit inside the country, bullet trains, for example, taxis, restaurants, souvenirs, hotels, you name it. It's all in that figure. Pretty good deal when you think about it that way. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And then finally, my last big purchase was a laptop. My laptop is also basically falling apart and dying. Again, not really a needed purchase necessarily, but I had gift cards from work. I had a redemption offer from Capital One for 18.5% cash back. And on top of that, it was Black Friday. So it was I believe $1,200 laptop, Microsoft Surface laptop 7, I think it's called. It was on sale for $1,200, or sorry, the original price is $1,200. It was on sale for $750 for Black Friday. And then minus my gift cards and the Capital One, the actual out the door cost to me was $342. So really, I got a great, fantastic deal on that. That should last me easily 6-7 years. 6-7, yeah. Paul. But yeah, that'll last me a while. My old one technically still works, but it's not really functional for anything beyond like video, watching videos. So it's kind of out the door, had to be replaced. I feel like I got a good deal there. But altogether, that was $8,051 in technically unnecessary spending. I think it's important to be open about money. I always did find it kind of weird how people are so closed off about this topic, but like billionaires, everyone knows how much a billionaire is worth. Like, we live track Elon Musk's net worth, but all of us that are, normal people, were very closed off about it. And I do get it. I think people don't want to be either looked down upon, or in the reverse of that, they don't want to have people knowing their money and then trying to take advantage of them for whatever reason. So I really do get it. But I do think it is invaluable to kind of understand money better, and part of that is knowing where you stand, not for purposes of envy, but for purposes of understanding. Some of you might find it valuable. I'm sure if you're watching to this point, you probably do. Some of you might not, but as usual though, really appreciate you watching these videos. I can't believe I've been making them so many years. It's been a pleasure. Hope to continue doing so. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I try to make as many videos as I can per year, but it's not so much a lack of not wanting to make videos. It's just, I don't know what to make them on. But we'll see you in the new year. Appreciate you watching though. You have a good rest of your year, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you happen to celebrate, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.